So there's that.
Yeah, that was a great intro.
Yeah, thanks, dude. So everybody, welcome to Talkin Motorbikes, and I'm on tonight with this dude that's been at it forever. I've met you years ago, dude. Like you've been at this game for a while. Deion Campbell, what's up, dude?
Hanging around. How you doing, bud?
Yeah, well, talking to you, apparently, I've known you for several years. You did the 600 thing forever. I think you even did that national thing, right? Like like when they did the East and West thing.
Yeah, yeah. 2016 actually, we
Yeah.
did stock 600. So yeah,
Right on, right on. So you've been at it for a minute, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been in the 600 for a long time, since 2012 actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I saw you the last time I saw you ride on the track with you anyway was Podium Club a couple years ago, right?
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. A couple of years ago.
Was it a couple
But
years ago or was it last year? I don't know. It all blends together, man.
it seems like it, right?
Right?
Time
Yeah.
flies.
Yeah. Maybe it was last year. But yeah, it was like it was like April or something and it was like you were there and it was like you and Bryce and Ben and J Rod and every one of us, like the entire BPR crew. Like there was one point, I think I was like fifth or sixth in a race. I come around that last corner on the backside, and it was like BPR bikes spilled out like a bag of Skittles on the ground, dude. And I was like, "What the fuck, dude?"
Yeah, it
So,
was
and I know you were in on that, right?
Yeah, that's 2022. Yeah, 2022, and it was me and Ben kind of hanging out on the side of the track for a while.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, you kind of had a few pretty big injuries over the years, right? Like I was thinking like you were like kind of Mr. Glass for a minute.
Well, actually, most of my big injuries have been motocross, riding
No
dirt
shit.
bikes.
Well,
Yeah,
hey, I said it on the show last night. Dirts are planting vegetables.
nah, no, dude, freaking
These
riding
road race
moto.
guys need to remember that.
Well, I flat track, and I haven't really had many injuries, thank God, for flat tracking. But moto, dude, moto is rough. It's
Really?
it's yeah, like riding moto, you're going quick, and then you're hitting those big triples and stuff. It's a workout, so you're like really getting your cardio and everything going. But man, like when it goes wrong quick.
Yeah. I guess the same could be said for our deal too, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Like when it
But
goes really bad, it could go really bad, like
yeah,
really
yeah,
bad,
yeah.
right?
But it's kind of weird. Like the road racing, you kind of skim along like a slipping slide, or you do have a little bounce when you do get those high sides. But like moto, it's like for some reason that dirt likes to hold on to you and give you those bear hugs when you're just freaking sending it.
Well, you are when you're sitting in the dirt, you're like flying through the air and shit too, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
there
yeah,
is
exactly.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100 coming out of the sky at 100 feet. Triples are kind of a little rough.
So how did you get started in this whole thing? Like what's your deal? Like did your dad race or something and decided to
Yeah,
take good racing or
yeah.
how'd it go?
Yeah, actually, I grew up at the track. So my dad raced out at Big Willow for the most part.
Wait, what was your dad's name?
Bill Campbell.
Bill Campbell. What did he race?
Uh, Back then it was an F2 and a Hurricane. So yeah,
What's back
way
then?
90. So I was probably one when I was out there. So it was 96, 95, 96. So he was
Wow.
between 93 to 96.
Okay.
So yeah, yeah, he road raced, and my godfather, which was my dad's best friend, he actually went to mechanic school and was tuning for Muzzy Kawasaki back in the day for Doug and Doug Chandler and Aaron Yates. So
Who's this guy?
Sage Wilkinson. Yeah,
Okay.
he's still in the industry. Yeah, he so I basically grew up at the track. These guys were best friends, and they're at the track, and they're basically going through the ranks, and I was there in my stroller, and yeah,
So you
pretty
grew up
much.
at you like were raised at Willow. You were one of those
Yeah,
Willow kids in the stroller?
Yep, yep. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
They have pictures of me in the stroller with like spare set of F2 fairings strapped to my little cart, and I would like push it around and stuff. So Willow, and then my dad did AFM, and that's back when AFM was split between North and the South. So
Okay.
yeah, that was back in the day. So formerly USA and stuff like that. So
That's crazy. So you just were born with it, basically. You were born with the throttle in your
yeah,
hand,
yeah,
right? And dirt
pretty
in your mouth.
much, pretty
Just
much.
right?
Yeah,
Right
yeah.
on.
But
That's badass, dude.
right? But it's I would actually started flat tracking. My dad got me a little Z50 when I was two, learned how to ride, and then I did my first flat track race when I was three. And then unfortunately I did like three races, so it wasn't a huge career, but they closed the place I was racing. And because I was so short, I wouldn't be able to touch the ground. So my dad had to hold me on the start and catch me on the finish.
Well, yeah.
So exactly. So I actually transitioned when I was four into BMX racing. So I actually had a pretty big break in motorcycles from like 4 to 10, and race bicycles for that solid time frame. And then I kind of transitioned back into flat track and supermoto when I was 10, moving on.
So what was it? When was your first like road race? You decided to stop dirt tracking and you try to decide to stop going in circles and
Actually, I
you wanted
didn't
to turn right sometimes.
that's the funny part. Like, I didn't like flat track that much. I like the TT better. So
Okay.
TTs were way better. The at least one roller, and then you have your right handers, and it's just I just like the TT way better. And kind of transitioned when I was 14. I want to say 13, 14.
14, you transitioned.
Yeah, transitioned.
Okay.
Yeah, in the motorcycle road racing on a RS 125 Honda.
Oh, you did
We're
the
gonna,
RS 125 thing.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Actually raced USGPRU with Jake Lewis and Benny Solis and a lot of
Oh
those
shit.
guys. Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't get
I think that's kind of when I started seeing you around because I was helping Benny back then, and dude,
yeah.
uh, I Benny did his first big bike track day with us, right?
Oh,
He was
okay.
right. He and his dad would bring Benny out all the time, and then there was one year. I can't remember what year it was, but like something happened with the insurance or whatever. I don't know. Some kid up back east died or whatever,
Oh
and then all of a
yeah.
sudden the insurance was like, okay, no kids under 14. Well,
Hmm.
Benny had been riding with us already since he was like 10, right? And then
Yeah.
at 12 years old, I had to go, like, his dad wouldn't tell him. He's like, you tell the boy, like Ben Senior's like, you tell him, pork chop, And
Yeah.
so I had to go and tell the kid, like, sorry, bro, like, it's not you. It's like, and it was
Yeah.
tough, man,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So,
Luckily I wasn't in that frame. I wasn't that early.
right.
But I was able to, I was, I didn't really have, I think the only place I wasn't able to ride at the time was, Sears Point or
Or
Sonoma
Laguna.
Raceway. Yeah. Or Laguna, but we never raced Laguna.
Right.
So, yeah,
You
USGPRU
guys,
never
USGPRU, that was what, 2011 or 12?
yeah. Yeah. 2011, 2010.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that. I said that because I remember bringing them out to Chuckwalla. So, like, when
Really?
I helped start the CVMA that first season, we had USGPRU come out and do a round, and there was a bunch of kids, and you were
Yeah.
probably there. I got
No,
pictures.
actually, I wasn't
Didn't
able
go
to
there
make
yet?
that one. No, no, I didn't get to Chuckwalla until 2 years ago. I want to say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I came in late for that one.
So you missed the USGPRU round at Chuckwalla that year.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, you're a loss. It was like the beginning of something.
Right. Exactly.
So then, how long did you do the 125 thing for?
I think collectively I did it for maybe 2 or 3 years, but I had some struggles. during that time frame where with the family, so kind of had to take some time off for the
Okay.
road racing. But I just trained flat track and Tsukumoto until the time being until 2012, and then that's when I moved to the 600.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So 2012, you moved to the 600, and you started doing like AFM rounds and stuff.
yeah. I started off with AFM, and actually it was really cool because Mike Perfetto helped me out with the R6 from San Jose Yamaha back in the day.
Okay.
Um, and then he was one of my biggest sponsors to go into AFM, and really cool. I had a just learning experience at that point.
Dude, a lot of it seems like a lot of the fast guys at AFM, there's like a dude that like sponsors them a bike and stuff, right?
Yeah,
Seems like
yeah,
it anyway. I mean, I don't want to name names or anything, but fuck it, this is this show, right? So, so it's
right.
like, like I can remember Siggy, right? Siggy had something
Yeah,
going on, and
yeah.
I mean,
Corey Call or Ricky Corey
yeah,
from AFM. He had a good Dave Stanton. A lot of
yeah. I
these
was gonna
guys,
say Dave Stanton.
yeah.
Yeah. So all you fast guys always end up having somebody to build you a bike to go club racing at AFM. That's why
Dude,
that club's so full of a bunch of loons, right? Or at least it
dude,
was. I don't know if it still is. Is it?
mm, it's rough. It's feeling a
Is
little
it?
rough right now. Yeah,
Yeah, I think shit's rough everywhere, dude. Like, I don't know. I mean, this is the first year I've ever heard of AFM doing like single day race weekends, right?
yeah, yeah.
That's
Uh,
kind of different. But you got to do what you got to do, right? I
I guess
mean,
I guess it's tough times. I don't know, to be honest. It's definitely different. I don't know how it's gonna work, but I guess
yeah,
we'll
well,
find
you're
out.
just the dude on the seat, right? You're the
Yeah,
loose nut on the seat. That's it.
exactly. All I
Like
do is
you're
show
not
up
part
and
of
have
government.
fun.
You don't know anything. Like,
Exactly. Who does that?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I wish I had the answer to it. I mean, I'm just this track day dude, really, that talks shit on the internet. But you know,
That's what I like to try to do. Just now, I try to keep my opinions to myself. Actually,
do you really? Yeah,
uh,
maybe that, that kind of works for me, but then it kind of doesn't.
yeah, it's true. It's tempting because you see it and you kind of want to have that like opinion, but then again, it's all about image and not wanting to get people upset. So
Yeah,
it's one of those things like it's kind of a stay neutral and just race, have fun.
I hear that. There's some validity there. You know,
Yeah,
you say you get away with saying a little too much, and then it's like, hey, you're that asshole.
exactly. You don't want to be known as that dude.
Right, right. Well, you know what, man? Like you've been around, and you got a bunch of lap records. Are they all like AFM records? What do you got?
Yeah. So, well, a lot of them are because
Big
that
race.
was my home. Yeah, that's my home place.
Yeah.
But Thunderhill, Buttonwillow. So it's kind of weird. My Buttonwillow lap record is official because it's in a race, but I've done faster on non-official lap stop times.
Okay.
Even though it's all like data based, like you still
Yeah.
have the lap times.
Yeah. If it doesn't happen on my laps, it didn't happen.
Exactly. My laps, it's not
Yeah.
significant. So yeah, like Thunderhill, Buttonwillow, Sonoma, uh, Portland. That's a Northwest
Yeah.
program.
I thought you were like a Pacific Northwest kid. I had no idea that you were a Willow hood rat like the rest of
No,
us.
actually, what's funny is my godfather, which is was my main mechanic back in the day. He's out of the Northwest, and everyone thought I was out of the Northwest because of the
Oh.
correlation. So yeah, like the Ridge, that's a Northwest organization that I have lap
Yeah.
record there, and then I got CRA's lap record at Podium Club for the 600, and yeah, just again, like I said, it officials versus non-official, like it
Right.
has to be on my lap so or it doesn't count.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like Sean Summers is commenting, oh, no girlfriend stopwatch times. Like that's what it dude, back in the day at Willow, there was no MyLaps
Yeah,
at Willow until like 2004, I think.
yeah,
So up until that point, you'd have your buddy and his girlfriend. Your buddies are out racing or whatever, and his girlfriend's giving him times. You're smoking that dude, right? Like you're full on smoking that dude, and his girlfriend comes in and tells him that he's doing times that are like 2 or 3 seconds faster than yours, right?
right,
And you're
right.
like, okay, cool, yeah,
Yeah, you're doing
you're
great.
really going, yeah. So, yeah, like the My Labs thing is, yeah, that's
It solidifies their BS, or like basically calls them out on it.
oh yeah, it's a bullshitometer for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, and
I,
you won a bunch of club race competition, yeah, championships, right? Like class championships.
yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. All
At,
the 600 classes at all those clubs.
yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah,
AFM. I've won the 600 class is basically the 750 class. So you'd have the 600, the
right.
750s, the Formula One.
Yeah, Formula
Uh,
One. Yeah, okay.
yeah. Yeah. So
And you would still do FP on your 600 too,
on
huh?
the six, yeah, I'd have a 5 race. Oh, one, two, yeah, 6 lap weekend or 6 race weekends.
Six
So
lap six six lap races a weekend.
it's yeah, no, 6 races for yeah,
Yeah, six
yeah,
races per weekend.
yeah,
And
yeah,
most of them be 6 laps, but then like FP is like 10 or 12, right?
yeah, about 12 for the most part.
And then if you did the CRA GTU GT thing, it was like 20, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What do you think of the longer races?
They're fun. They're a lot of
Yeah.
fun actually. It's different, but it's fun because it kind of it allows you to push yourself, and like it really sets you up for like a MotoAmerica program because uh they're long. So in MotoAmerica, you guys, we do like our fastest lap, and then we're within that fastest lap. We're within a second of that fastest lap the whole race. So
Right.
when you're in the CRA, the GT races, it's a blast because you could really push yourself.
Yeah.
You can set that time and then just keep going and drilling them out and drilling them out, and it's a really
Right.
good practice tool to set you up for that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, truthfully, when I was running CRA, or helping run CRA, if you want to say that, um, like I basically stole that from Willow.
Yeah,
Yeah, like, during the, spring and summer, they would do
yeah,
those solo GTU races or whatever, and
yeah,
on Saturday night after practice, dude, it was on, right? And you would
yeah.
do that, like, 20 lapper at Willow, and I remember doing that when I was younger, thinking I was gonna die, you know, because first of all, it was Willow in July, okay? So
Oh,
it was, like,
oh.
8,000 degrees outside, and "Yeah, let's do this 20 lapper after riding all day in practice." So,
Sounds about right. I don't. My I I've never raced Willow. I grew up there because
yeah,
my dad raced it, and dude, my dad would tell me stories about how brutally hot it was out there,
yeah,
and just grinding it out in the heat. That'd be freaking brutal. 20 lappers on a
yeah,
100 and what is it normally out there,
108,
like 108?
like, yeah,
Just yeah, that's rough.
110, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty
we're
rough.
dumb. We're basically dumb. You know?
Hey, quick way to go get dehydrated.
Right. Yeah, so, so you did the club thing, and, do you have, like, a preference for the way the clubs are, now that you've been at basically all the clubs on the West Coast? Like,
Uh,
what are you looking for in a club, I asked Jason this question, and he said whichever one pays the most.
or to be honest, that's a big step actually, or big deal for racers because it's such a expensive program to
Yeah.
run, even at a club level.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a huge fan of CRA's program. To be honest, just how everything's structured, how they're really like on top of it, the communication's really strong, and just how everything's layered out. And my biggest thing is like if the racer's having a problem, they're really open to listen to it. Like,
Okay.
yeah, not just like we're stuck in our ways and it's like the racer's fault. It's more of like you guys, they listen and like they try to adapt or try to figure out a way to make it better for the racer experience. And
Yeah.
then again, the payouts definitely help out a lot because again, it's expensive tires and fuel and travel. It adds up quick.
You're all,
So
dude, it adds up. I'm like, yeah, bro, I fucking know.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even so, I also raced some Wera. Where actually that's where I got my national championships
Oh,
out of.
really?
Yeah, so I did the Grand National Final out of Alabama. That was a blast. But I think that was more of a track experience because it's Alabama and it's
Yeah.
Barber. But so I've done some Wera, I've done some CRA, Omer warmer up in the Northwest, AFM, CVMA, and I just really feel at home at like the CRA program, just because of how
The close
they
proximity to current power sports.
that too is like based right out of there.
You
So
break
no.
something, you could just run to Bryce's house real quick and then
A 20-minute drive into town, we'll be set. Yeah, the home base. Yeah, but
right
yeah, it's
on.
just I like, and I also like the program because like you get your practice and warm up done, and then race on Saturday, and then again same thing on Sunday. It's like you're good to go. You're getting 2 days of racing rather than um,
One.
like a stretched out half day on Saturday of practice, and then everything smashed together on Sunday.
Right. Yeah, I mean, when we started CVMA, because I was involved in that shit too. Um, that was the one thing. It was like, oh, dude, we're gonna call this thing a race weekend for real.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that was really the whole mindset behind it. And so it was like Q in the morning on Saturday, and then you go right into a full schedule. Uh, CVMA, I think we set it up to where it's like double headers every weekend, right?
yeah,
So it's like,
yeah,
you know, if you have your, whatever middleweight super sport or whatever it is, and you got beat by your buddy on Saturday, guess what? You could wake up Sunday and go smash him,
exactly,
to give him
exactly.
payback, right? But he did get to talk shit to you at the barbecue or whatever. So, like, that was the whole club racer thing that, like, by design at Chuckwalla was like that. It was like the Saturday night barbecue. There'd be like 80 dudes in the pit talking
Yeah,
shit about the races from the day. And then we would go and slit each other's throat on the grid the next morning,
yeah, yeah.
right?
You're friends during Saturday night, but you guys are enemies that next morning.
100%, dude. 100%.
It's
It was
wartime.
like my last couple of years at Chuckwalla, it was like me and Alex Fuller, Nick
Yeah.
Sillig.
Okay.
Dude, it was like we were stabbing each other in the fucking neck, bro. It was rad, you know?
Exactly. That's how you do it. It's
Yeah.
like you guys shake hands on a Saturday and tell each other good luck tomorrow.
Yeah. And, the CRA certainly captures some of that as well. Um, AFM, not so much. I mean, I know that there was a guy fuck was that dude's name? He raced the SV. His name escapes me. It was like he and his brother would come out and like they would do this whole like smoke pork all day kind of deal. I can't remember what their names were, but they used to do that. And then I know the Kettlesons do a little bit of that now too.
Yeah.
Um, John Righty will bust his smoker out and he's like real proud of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, but it's
Yeah.
not like AFM doesn't have that. Like AFM seems like the writers there were always like way more serious. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I could see a lot of that on the serious level, but and the thing is we get a lot of that seriousness in like CVMA and CRA because
yeah, now, yeah,
we have fast riders, but it's
yeah,
still we're serious, but we also are for the barbecue.
yeah,
We're just there to have some
yeah.
fun
I
and
saw you guys
yeah,
eating ice cream at the ice cream social. Like,
exactly. That's
I
how it
know I'm
goes.
probably not supposed to say that because your coach or whatever might get mad, but like I saw you eating ice cream. I just saying,
I
like,
yeah. Well, the great thing is I'm my own coach, so I just tell myself to go ride some more miles.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. So, after years and years on the 600, what made you make the jump to the big bike?
Yeah, that was so actually crazy story. So 2016, I did the MotoAmerica stuff, and I had some ride opportunities that were going to come up in 2017 that I was so I had a sponsor in 2016 that was
Okay.
going to go full board MotoAmerica. And
Yeah.
then last minute, or I went to Road Atlanta, first time I've ever been there. And that's when they had such a big group, they would split them up into two.
Yeah.
Uh, in the first 12 laps, I was the fastest in that second group, but still had like Xavier Zayat, so reputable names, and I was still like the first fastest in that second group.
Yeah.
And Chuck Graves came up and he was like, "Hey, how you doing?" Da da da. Like he thought this was my home track and I'd been here before, and I'm like, "Never been here, still trying to learn the track." And Chuck's like, "Okay, sounds great. Are you gonna go to all the other rounds?" And I said I wasn't. And my sponsor just landed up backing out just before that, or just before me and Chuck talked. So I wasn't planning on it, but I was like, I said I'll probably do maybe one or two more rounds, and he was like, I want you to be at every other round after this. So I'm like, well, shoot, okay. So I missed the New Jersey round because MotoAmerica has like a 1 month pre-reg, like if you're not
Right.
in that 1 month. So I missed the first Jersey round and then went to every round after that, kind of basically threw everything in the pot, threw like everything into it. And there was some opportunities that were supposed to come up, and unfortunately, how things got signed up and how things got played around,
Right.
opportunity fell through. So 2017, I didn't get that opportunity, and it kind of fell apart. So I had one opportunity, possibly it was going to be with Chuck, and then that kind of fell through. And then there was going to be a possibility with Tunes, that was supposed to be kind of worked with Chuck and Tune and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
Tune was like, if I remember correctly, that was like Pon's deal, right?
Yes,
So that
Mike
was that was
Pond.
sort of like
I,
that was sort of like the Moto America version of like Arion and Honda,
yep,
right? It
yep,
was
yeah.
tuned
It was
and
their breeding grounds. It was the
right.
breeding ground. So it was Mike Pond and Bryce that were really, really running that program really
Right.
well. And so from what I was working with Chuck, that there was supposed to be an opportunity to be able to ride with Tunes, but things kind of fell through. That's when the Quicksilver program kind of
Yeah.
dissolved and had some problems. And so I did a couple rounds. I was hit by a drunk driver in 2017.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so I had some problems. Raced Laguna and Sonoma, and I was actually battling for the lead in 2017, or not for the for the lead at Sonoma with Uribe and Aguilar and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I, Jason, this was when Brayton Orr was
The
racing.
Canadian kid.
Yep, yep. So Brayton passed Uribe, I passed Uribe, and Brayton kind of lost his braking marker into the last turn, and he popped up really early, and I got on the brakes, and Sonoma's last turn super narrow. So I'm like, oh shoot, trying to stop it, not hit this guy, and I'm coming in, and the front moves, and it jams my back up, and it had like 3 laps to go, so I like almost touch the front, save it, go wide. I go back to like sixth, and then I like because it was a big group, we're right there with each other, and I landed up
Yeah.
finishing like fifth or something like that.
Wow.
And yeah, that was my push for like 20 MotoAmerica. 2018, my sister um, my sister wanted to do basketball,
Hmm.
play basketball and stuff like that, and she didn't really have a structure to have that support. So I never played basketball in my life, but I taught myself how to play basketball. Did immense amount of freaking training, like research, handling drills, taught myself everything
You learned
about
how to
basketball.
play basketball on YouTube.
Yeah, well, YouTube coaches, everything,
No
dude. I was
shit.
YouTube certified. Yeah, and
Wow.
I basically helped my sister and groomed her. She got a scholarship into private school, high school for it, and then she got some offers into Cal Poly and Sonoma State. So she was really good. Like her last year of high school, she was on the Nike EYBL tournament. So
No shit.
I was driving around and flying around to like Illinois and Georgia and stuff like that to these tournaments to help her be successful in it. So I kind of put my racing to the back burner at that point. And we worked hard, and she busted butt. And after that, she kind of went her own way on uh, college, boyfriend interaction, stuff like that. So
Life.
yeah, yeah, right. And then landed up going back into road racing. And at that point, I was in 2019. I kind of bought a ZX10, just kind of have fun
Yeah.
with it because everyone's like, "Oh, dude, you should try the cow. It's cheap."
Everyone.
Yeah. That and then that during that time frame, it was like the Cowie was a hot ticket. That's when Andrew
Well, it's
was on
because
the
Cowie
Cowie.
was paying stupid money.
That's true, and it was
Like
a
that bike
super.
was, I don't know, like
Yeah,
yeah,
it was a super. It's a super. Like the Cowie's a pretty cheap build because for my stock 1000, I literally did a head
yeah,
gasket, and that was it. It was like head gasket, race fairing setup, and go.
and
And um,
suspension,
yeah, well,
triumph, like
suspension,
all the
yeah.
shit. Like you still put serious money in it. Just
Yeah. But it's not like you're not
Cowie's
having to.
always they dude. Like I've been racing motorcycles for like 26 years, right?
Yeah,
Cowie's always had engines that were like stupid fast, and then
dude,
their
they're rocket
chassis was like,
mediocre. Well, I heard
yeah,
the old ZX6s, like pre 636s, were really really good chassis. But
right,
then I don't know. But yeah, like so I did a dabble of a couple races here and there. Like not never a full season on the ZX10.
right.
Struggled with that bike because I could never get it to work right. I didn't have that support that I really needed. It was weird because Cowie had a problem where, like, when I would be full throttle and the back end would be spinning, I couldn't quick shift. I couldn't use the quick shifter. Like, I would
Oh,
literally have to chop the throttle to
oh
shift.
shit.
Right. So,
First
that was
world problems, right? Oh, I couldn't use the quick shifter.
right. Exactly.
Like
Well,
riders today have no idea, right, about
oh,
racing bikes without quick
oh, no,
shifters and auto
no,
blip.
exactly.
We're such
Exactly.
needy bitches now, dude. Like we need all that shit, or it's like, well, I don't even want to ride anymore. Like
Right. Right.
if it doesn't have auto blipper on it, I don't even want to ride it anymore.
Who rides something without auto blip?
I
What the
know,
heck?
right? Like that's even that XSR thing that I ride like at the track has the auto blipper on it, dude.
That's fun. Dude, the Husky 450 super bikes have auto blip. How can you not have? Come
Wow.
on. Come on. But yeah. But no, it was we didn't really do much on the ZX, like races here and there, mostly focused on my sister's basketball. And then when that finished, I'm like, well, if I want to pay for my racing, I want to go back to something that I absolutely love. I love riding a 600
Yeah.
because it fit my style. Like I love riding the ragged edge of the tires, sliding the bike a lot because I'm a flat
Revving it till
tracker.
it sounds like it's
Yeah,
fixing to blow up.
exactly. Just absolutely killing the motor at the whole
Yeah.
time. And riding growing up on two strokes and
Yeah.
being a flat tracker. If you're not sliding or the bike engine's not screaming, you're not riding.
All right.
So, so it was one
Damn,
of
dude.
those. So it was one of those things. Like I was like, I want to go back to a 600, and then jumped on a 600 for about a year. Had some problems, like electronically, having some like bugs that I was really trying to figure out and get my head around the six again. And then kind of partnered up with Bryce at CVMA because like I was having some problems with quick shift and auto blip just randomly kicking on or kicking off.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, Bryce, can you help me out? I've known the dude forever. I've raced with him when he was on Tuned. I raced with him through MotoAmerica.
Yeah.
Raced him when I would race Button Willow, and because that's his home track, he would come out and just have a blast, and we'll go battle it out. So I've known him for a long time. I'm like, hey, any chance can you help me take a look at this stuff? And he's like, yeah, no problem. Came over, super, super helpful. So
Yeah.
still having bugs and stuff, and it got to the point where I had to get off, and then my bike was intermitting, and like I came into one of these turns, and like I'm fine. I'm pre auto blip and quick shift, or pre auto blip, I should say.
Yeah.
Not quick shift. I was doing Pizzazz back in the day, but
Oh, okay.
I was pre auto blip. But the thing is if your auto blip intermit, like it either is on or off. And if it's on and you use the clutch, it messes up the whole bike. And if it's off, then you use the clutch, it's fine. So I came into one of the turns at CVMA and I went to go downshift, and they're already coming in really hot, and it misshifts, false neutrals coming in, and it's like, oh my God, trying to get to stop. And just before I went off the track, I tucked the front, went off. I was frustrated. And then started talking to Bryce at that point. I'm like, dude, like pounding my head against
Dude,
this
can you
wall.
give me a hand, dude? Clearly, I don't know what
Exactly.
I'm doing with working on the bike.
Exactly. So I was like, dude, what, and me and him were talking. He's like, what are you doing next year? And I said, well, it'd be way better. I said, it'd be pretty cool if I was riding one of those BPR bikes. And it went from a joke to like seriousness. Like, yeah, I think we can do something. So started talking about riding the 600 for BPR. We started doing some tuning, and then kind of made a big jump because we're planning on doing MotoAmerica.
Yeah.
And I had some because me and him started talking about doing MotoAmerica on possibly a 600 or the new FC09, or not the FC09, but the new
like hooligans.
Yeah, no, not the hooligans, but when like the new 600 comes out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
What is that? R
Everybody's calling it the R9
R9 or whatever. Yeah,
I haven't seen it. I've been sponsored by Yamaha for years, and they typically don't tell me anything.
Yeah.
They don't tell me shit, dude, because I had a big mouth, right?
You know what? You never.
Yeah, dude. Like I've actually tried to get them to invite me to whatever.
Press
Yeah,
never.
like I'm like, dude, I got followers now. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know how that works. But
yeah, actually, I've heard some stuff about it, little things here and there. But,
yeah.
So, like, we're already talking about possibly doing a 600 program, and so I started basically getting everything acclimated to MotoAmerica spec. So I made the transition from Pirelli, which I have to thank Corey and Chris. Those guys that did.
CT Racing.
Corey. Yeah. Well, Corey. Yeah, Corey from CT, and what's his name? I'm blanking on his name right now.
Well, there's Corey and Chris McGuire.
Oh no.
Oscar Solis.
Who?
Oscar Solis.
Oscar. That's my man's name. Oscar. He
I'm a Pirelli guy, bro. So
yeah. Oscar's my buddy. Like he helped me out through we're the Grand National Finals, and we did a lot together. So he helped me out so much throughout the years, and Corey definitely helped out a lot. But because I was making that transition to MotoAmerica and the Dunlop spec tire, I decided it was the right move during the time frame to start getting used to it.
Okay.
So
practice on the tires you're going to race on.
Exactly. I don't want to. I don't want to try to have to get used to it at the big races. So, made that change. Kind of played around and did a lot of R&D work with it, just trial and error, see what we can do and what would work better for like my style. So it was kind of a cool thing because Bryce is very, very successful on the 600, but mine and his riding style kind of differ because I'm supermoto flat track background where he's
Yeah,
kind of
you
like,
got the rear end backed in everywhere, and Bryce is like a classic,
yep,
like
yep, yep,
he's like champ school guy, basically, right?
exactly,
Textbook
exactly,
champ you.
yep, yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely learned a lot between each other. Kind of different things I could change, different things he can like kind of adapt on setups that can work on that type of rider and that on that bike. Um, so like 2 races to go, actually one race in AFM and one race in CRA. Bryce was like, "Hey, you want to try the R1?" I
He's
was
like
like,
he's like a drug dealer offering you crack. He's like,
"Exactly."
"Hey, you want some
He gave me
crack?"
that sample. He gave me that
Next thing you know,
sample.
you're like Ashy Larry with the nice.
That's exactly. So he was like, "You want to try this out?" And I'm like, "Sure, why not?" So we did CRA. Did I jumped on it and like it's similar chassis wise, so you can hold the same kind of cornering speed type of stuff, but it's different for power delivery stuff like that.
It's
So
got a lot more of it.
just a little here and there, but yeah, so did pretty well on the CRA, did really well at AFM, and then we're like, well, again, a joke turned into something being serious on the off season. Um, we're talking about doing thousands for the next year
Yeah.
at a club level, and then MotoAmerica dropped that schedule with 5 rounds. And I'm like, you see, everything's on the West Coast and it's 5 rounds. What you think about it? And it went from a joke like, dude, we could totally make this work to we're making it work.
Wow.
So started really pushing to make that MotoAmerica program happen, and this has been technically my first full season on the R1 on a big bike.
So how's it going so far, Mr. Top 10 in Stock 1000?
Uh, it's going. It's actually
It's
going real.
going.
It's going. It's going a lot. It it's weird to be honest. And like I said before, like for me, for being on 2-stroke and just being a flat tracker, if you're not sliding and the bike's not screaming, it doesn't feel like you're going fast. So um, Bryce and Josh Hayes has been like sitting there with me. He's like, dude, you need to calm down. You're just riding way too hard. You're overriding the bike.
You're
Like
riding it like a 600. Stop riding it like a
exactly.
600. Ride it like 1,000. Is that what he's telling you?
Yeah. So I'm like, dude, it's frustrating because like the harder you ride, the slower it goes almost. And I'm like,
Yeah. Not almost.
oh yeah, okay, it's
Not
true.
almost.
Yeah. So you could push pretty hard. It's
Yeah.
just in the right area. It's
Yes.
it's kind of
You could
weird.
tie yourself up in the knots on the R1 pretty easy, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy. Like the harder you ride it, it fights you. Like on the R1, it fights you. It doesn't reward your effort. Like it wants to be ridden a certain way, and
Yeah. Otherwise,
that's
it's like, fuck you.
exactly. It's like no, it's my way or the highway, and I'm like, no, I want to ride it this way. But it's one of
It's
those
one of
things.
those.
Like
It's one of those progressive bikes,
yes,
right?
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, Josh has been telling me like, hey, calm down, breathe, don't override, don't do this, don't do that. Really focus on progressing each time you get on the bike, and I think that has been my biggest learning experience is like calming down, not overriding, kind of focusing my efforts in the right areas and going the right. And it's been going in the right direction. So from when I first started till now, I'm definitely getting a lot faster, closing the
Yeah.
gap to that front group. The consistency is a lot higher as well. So like I said, MotoAmerica, the pace is faster than it was the year before.
Yeah.
The group is really, really quick. And
I mean, you've got that lunatic work boots guy on the Honda, right?
dude, he loves those dive bombs. He
You got
does.
Ben, you got Bryce, you got Uribe. Like
Yep. Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
hitter after hitter after hitter, and then you're in there. Like you're
Yeah.
heads up, you're one of the hitters. You're just like like
Just
you and
right.
Bryce should just swap bikes next round.
I wish that was the answer, but it's not.
They're the same fucking bikes.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Yeah.
They are for sure.
Yeah.
It's just how you write it. Like I said, like if
Yeah.
you override it, it kind of ties it up in knots. And
Well, quit
that
doing
was,
that, dude. You'd be in the front.
dude. I wish it was that easy to just tell yourself to calm down. Especially as a racer, you get impatient. You're like, let's go. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, so like my times aren't terrible. So like
Dude,
Laguna,
you're top 10, man. What's your
yeah.
highest finish so far this season? Like 7th? 8th?
I think 6th or 7th.
Yeah, I thought it was like 7th, but maybe 6th. Dude,
I'm
but
not.
like, look at all the names behind you, man. Like,
Yeah.
you basically got, you've got the 4 dudes I mentioned plus one more. Who's the other one?
Wyman's going really well this year too, and he's
Travis?
not in the battle. Yeah.
Yeah, Travis has been a front runner on that class for years since it started, basically, right?
Danilo Lewis is riding well too this year. So there's a big group. Ashton Yates is doing well.
Yeah, I was gonna say Laguna, he did really well.
Yeah. That I have to say, like they're really getting their head around that program, and it's coming around for them. So it's definitely another hitter that we're.
I mean, you're on the R1 and they're on the Honda. Like you're behind. You could see, right? Like, where do you think the Honda is making up the difference? You know what I mean? Like you're on the track behind the thing. Is it just the way it comes off the corner? Like what do you think it is?
So I've ridden behind the Hondas, and they seem just super stable in mid-turn. So it's like their package overall is really strong. They're super stable, and they come off this turn really well. Like, and their overall power is phenomenal. Like it's like each step
phenomenal and power said in the same sentence with Honda. That's
dude,
weird to me.
Yeah. Trust me, I thought I was going to say that for like Beamers or something, but Jesus, it's freaking. I'm really impressed how that Triple R is working for them. Like, racing, you pick the throttle up, you have your maintenance throttle, you know where you're at, you know if you're starting to gain on them, even if it's just a little bit, and you have that direction. But for just some reason, it's like they get off the turn well and they get down the straightaway fast. And it like their power delivery is so smooth, it doesn't look like it just wants to snap the bike sideways. And like their chassis seems to handle the power very well. So it just seems like it pushed the power down. And
I mean, they certainly are writing checks this year. So.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Wow, right?
It's definitely doing really well. Really, really good program, and like the Beamers too are running.
I was going to ask you the Beamer. The Beamers are crazy fast down the straightaway, right? But then,
do
you look at the lap times though? Like I talked to your former teammate because he had raced one last year, Wyatt, and Wyatt was saying that the lap times are about the same for him, right? And he had a whole thing about how the BMW was better in some places, but then the R1 was better in other places. Is that?
I could see it in certain spots. It looks like the Beamer kind of, from what I've seen and ridden behind. I don't know. I've never ridden one,
right?
But I've ridden the older versions, so like the electronics are really cool. But it seems like they struggle a little bit on getting the bike to come back on itself.
Hmm.
But their power delivery on their split throttle bodies are really strong, and the electronics seem to be like. And I, even though everyone thinks it's really weird, I seriously think like those winglets, even though it seems kind of weird, it seems like it helps because on the 1,000 it wheelies so much that it
Right.
when the pressure pushes the front end down, that means it's not having to pull so much electronics out, which just allows it to keep driving rather
Yeah.
than like where everything else wants to just climb. There that downforce is keeping that front down, which is less electronic pull. So it you could visually see it, oof, right off the. But
Yeah.
I think it might be a mixture between it just being fast and just how well that or those teams have those electronics.
Right. Well, I mean, clearly the wing does something because, Top Rack still won without it, but he only won by, you know, like
Yeah,
second.
yeah,
He only won
yeah,
by less this time. He didn't win by
yeah,
10 seconds.
yeah.
He cut his win margin down a bit,
Yep,
right?
100%.
Yeah. So that wing clearly does something. They wouldn't put them on the bikes if
No, no, not at
if they
all.
didn't do something, they wouldn't put them on there and use them because they only put them on there for racing, right?
Yeah.
They look cool and they help sell on the street, but truthfully, like
Yeah.
they sold
For,
bikes that didn't look like spaceships for a long time. So
exactly. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So have you been watching the other races in Motor America this season?
I've been watching some,
Okay.
a little, mostly the 600s because
Are
as
you
a
like
form.
comparing your times to their times everywhere and wondering, you checking the
Uh,
times to see where you stack up against those loons?
I've seen it. I've
Okay.
done it in some places here and there, like
Okay.
the Ridge. I've done uh like low 44s at the Ridge, and they're doing 43s, and that was like super stock builds versus like super sport build. And I'm like, dude, I think I could run that. Like I
Yeah.
could do it. And then like same for Laguna, I did like low 28s at like the AFM, and again that was a super stock build, and I'm like, dude, I think I could run it. I could run those
Yeah.
times. So it's one of those things like I I always have it in the back of my mind, and I think it's kind of like just a racer instinct. Like I could do that. Like shoot, get me signed up. Um, but yeah, it's just no. I actually really enjoy the battles like between Schultz and PJ, and like just
Yeah.
how hard these guys are pushing. It's I can relate to it, and I like watching these guys duke it out.
So, you're riding a big bike now. Any super bike aspirations? You gonna scumbag Bryce into building you a super bike for next year?
Probably not a super bike, but we want to
Come on,
we're
Bryce, get her done, dude. No?
uh well not super bike yet.
Okay.
But I would definitely like to do probably another year stock.
Okay.
Um, it's still gonna be. I think it's still gonna be pretty loaded with talent. So I feel like if we can get another round or another season under our belt for stock 1,000, I think it would kind of put us in the right direction to go into a super bike. I think it kind of helps build that foundation into a bigger program.
Okay.
And yeah, and the super bikes are just
They're
astronomically
super
expensive.
fun to ride though, right?
Oh, dude, they look like
Have
rock.
you ridden a proper super bike yet?
No,
Bro.
no, no.
Yeah. Like there's the Ricky Bobby always says I have that mic drop moment, and that's like, yeah, I rode the Attack super bike and it's fucking nuts, dude.
Different.
Like honestly, I went faster on a stalker because I was so paranoid that if I chucked this thing into the scenery, Richard would have my neck like Bart Simpson and Homer Simpson, like Yeah, so like I wasn't quite down for that, but it was crazy. Like how much power it made, the way it made power. Like I felt late to everything.
Yeah.
Like yeah, like when you get on something and the brakes work better, the suspension's working in a different way. The power is so much more. It's like so much. And I'm just like burr, burr, and I'm like, fuck, I need to Like I'm still over here. I felt like a fat slug on the thing, dude. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's a big difference because what you change pretty much only everything on that thing. You got swing arm
everything, yeah. Like
pivotal,
the only
like
thing, like I
triple.
don't know if you saw the build breakdown video that I just posted, but it's like I asked Richard, I was like, "What's left of the stock R1?" And he's like, "Well, the engine's pretty stock, you know, basically from the head gasket down,
Yeah,
like
okay, okay, that
everything
makes sense,
below the head gasket's pretty stock, except the transmission."
dude. I have to say, I bet you those transmissions are pretty freaking rad.
I mean, I haven't gotten to try it since they put their transmission. I'll let you know
The
when I.
transmission lock.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The well, it's not just that, but it's the ratios in the transmission have changed.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So like, I think that was a new rule for last year, and yeah, they can at the beginning of the season. So they got to set their ratios that to kind of work for everywhere, right? They
Hmm.
can't. They don't get. It's not like back in the day where they would just swap cassettes and just keep going,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like, oh, that doesn't work for this track. Let's use the Mid Ohio cassette, right? Like it's not like
yeah,
that. So they have to pick their ratios for all the teams have to pick their ratios for the year and then go with that, right? But the
yeah,
Novus
yeah.
thing too is the neutral lockout thing was kind of trick too.
Yeah.
I
Now,
think
does
that was
that?
new for last year too.
Yeah. Now, does that just go just first is down and it's just
Dude,
first
it's
all the way to
neutrals at the
six
top
and
and it's six down.
just mash them down? That's freaking rad. That's so rad.
Yeah. Like, I wanna
I,
try it, like, I don't know, I think it'd be rad. Because I
yeah.
don't know, I
Well,
mean, I know you're a BPR guy, so the BPR guys don't use first a lot, right? Like,
oh no, we do a
do you do
lot.
now? Okay,
Yeah.
because Bryce
Yeah.
used to tell me, "Oh, yeah, like, I have second," right? But,
Yeah. Yeah. We actually, I think that was a kind of a turning point at Laguna. We um we were doing a lot of like seconds and stuff like that. Obviously, Laguna, you're going to be in first coming out of the last turn.
yeah,
Uh, but we were a lot of these tracks were staying in second and going second, third, and fourth, and running like 3 gears for the most part.
yeah,
But Laguna, we did a big switch up and we started using first through fifth. Like we changed our
yeah,
our gears, and it definitely helped. Like it's
yeah.
helping us.
How important is the electronics now? I know the R1, I'm pretty sure you guys are using some form of the kit electronics, right?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, we're on the YEC
Yeah,
kit stuff. We're not on anything like the Woolage or anything like that. We're
yeah.
we're straight kit. But
Dude, the kit
it
stuff's trick, right? For the
you
money?
they're solid. It's a solid program, and you could Bryce and Quentin have tuned that thing really really well. Like at Laguna, I was coming out of the last turn, and you would start to feed it throttle, and as soon as the front would start to lift, you just mash it to the freaking throttle stop, and then it would just be
You hear the
shooting down.
electronics internally going, "Ah," right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then it just does its thing, right?
but you have to
Yeah,
lean into it. Like it's
yeah,
crazy on if you start to like double guess and do all that stuff with how well they have it tuned, like
yeah.
you'll
Well, you
mess
guys
up
kinda
electronics.
you can fuck with it, like, everywhere, right? Like, so, when you have that meeting, who is it that you're working with that you talking to on the electronic side? Are you talking to
So,
Bryce, or how does it
uh,
work in your team?
okay, Quentin is from Next Level
Mhm.
Racing is
Yeah.
our crew chief.
Okay.
Uh, he
So
kind
he's
of
everybody's crew chief.
yeah,
He's the
yeah,
team
team
crew
crew
chief.
chief. Yeah,
Got it.
yeah.
Okay.
So, but it's kind of a split effort between Bryce, Quentin, and Josh. Well, Josh will come and help me out,
Okay.
and we'll kind of sit down and have like a group meeting and what I feel on the bike because a big part of this electronic package is also engine braking. And there's a
Mm,
lot of stuff that I don't know on the big bike that Bryce already knows,
yeah.
and then Josh knows, and like
Well, you
actually,
you being like that two-stroke guy, you want the thing to freewheel more, right? And take, not not slow you down on the. You don't want so much engine braking on the entry, right? Being a
To an
two-stroke guy.
extent, yeah. Well, to an extent. So
Okay.
the two-stroke part is just being wide open. That's my forte of
I'm
two-stroke.
like,
So
"Tap,
like,
tap, tap," like that, the plug chops and
yeah,
shit. Yeah.
yeah. As long as it's wide open, I'm fine. But
Yeah.
the I think the biggest part is I do like a little bit more engine braking than Bryce because I do slide it into the turn,
Okay.
and that kind of helps me load the chassis. So it is a little bit different between me and Bryce
So
when it
that's
comes
that
to
dirt
that.
track side coming in
Yeah.
to play.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Exactly.
Where
So
Bryce is like champ you, right?
yep,
Right.
yep,
Yeah.
yep. And
Okay.
then I kind of like the engine braking to help get everything like set in the turn, and it kind of feels like it helps load the chassis a little bit more for getting it to get to apex. So
Okay.
it's just a little bit here and there different. Um, and then, but like for example, we're at Laguna, and Bryce made a jump to a gearing that I was running, and where it expanded the gearing from like first to fifth rather than first to fourth, like Bryce was originally doing.
Right.
And we're he was we were in that stock thousand race on Sunday, and he was like, "Oh, dude, we have too much engine braking. Like we're getting like side to side movement coming into six." And I'm like, I've been working on suspension all weekend trying to figure this out, but it was technically engine braking, and I didn't know this.
Oh
Like
shit.
it's kind of like I didn't know the rear was causing that problem, and then Bryce jumps on it. He was like, "Oh yeah, that's engine braking. We had to pull some out." So when I went to Superbike the last race, I was like allowing it to like roll in better, and it like definitely fixed it in the right direction. So
Hmm.
like having Bryce's experience on these big bikes for so long, it definitely really works out really well.
Well, you guys have data on the bikes too, right?
Yeah, yeah, but it's really hard to differentiate engine braking to chassis load and stuff like that
Mm.
because
Well,
um,
it doesn't. Oh, you're not getting the full feed. You're just getting suspension. Like I don't know what
so
data you have.
we have throttle position, we have a potentiometer for the so you have the throttle hands, and then you have your regular throttle bodies, and you have all the data, but it's
Lambda,
just
right?
right, pretty much. But it's just
Yeah.
one of those things. It's like it's kind of hard to tell, like if the throttle blades are shutting off too much, and that's what's loading the chassis,
Mm.
versus just the rear shocks doing something funky coming into the turn.
So it's your job to tell the guy what's happening, and the crew guy is supposed to fix it.
Yeah, pretty much. So I
Okay.
tell them, I'm like, dude, it's like crossing up coming into this turn. I'm like, this is what I'm feeling. I feel like it's just bouncing too much coming into it.
Yeah.
But then I have to know if it is like the engine braking or actual suspension, or
Mm.
if it's the tires, because if a tire starts to go off and it slides in, but then binds up and then loads the rear, and then it starts getting this pitch, then you have to like differentiate from all three. Which one is it?
Dude, that's a
And
lot.
dude, it's great. And at this
That's a lot,
level, yeah,
dude.
dude, at this level, you have to, because it's not just take like two clicks of rebound and you're good. It's like, no, like,
You
is
gotta
it
take it to that guy in the pits and be like, "Hey, put the magic sweet numbers in it."
exactly the set it and forget it numbers. The
Yeah, dude.
the
Yo, you haven't got the sweet numbers then, right?
I guess I
Yeah,
missed
there
that
used
one.
to be a guy. There's a guy. There's always a guy, right?
Oh,
Like
always,
everywhere you
oh,
go, there's that guy. Like, oh man, if you just let me touch your bike, it's like two more. You'll get 2 seconds quicker.
two
Like
seconds,
next
2 seconds.
session,
hmm
right? Yeah.
Oh, and then there's always that guy that's like, "Oh, I was watching you out there, and you're doing this wrong and that wrong," and I'll be like, "Oh, dude,
Dude, you did
really?
that to me.
But did it
Like I'm
work?"
going through the corkscrew and you're like, bro, we need to
whoa,
have a chat.
whoa, 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 whoa! But did it work? Did it work?
Yeah, it worked, but you were still
Okay,
that guy,
okay.
right?
I just wanted to help out.
Yeah,
I
dude. Oh, no, it was rad. It was rad.
okay,
Like
okay.
I've had that before. We there's always like Josh Hayes is that guy too. Like I was at the Ridge with the team, and we were doing this private testing, and there was like, you know, I think it was Bobier and Jake, and then the M4 team. So it was like 5 dude. The M4 team was, I think, Tony, Bobby, and SDK. So it
Okay.
was so it was Cam and Jake on track, Bobby, Tony, and SDK, and then me.
All
Right.
right. All
So,
right.
and I'm riding a stalker with a rear shock on it, basically a
Yeah.
stalker on slicks. And I
Heck
go out
yeah.
there like lights and mirrors, the whole bit. It was like, oh, factory dude for a day, right? So I'm going, and I got going pretty good, actually. I was like, all right, like I could kind of, I'm okay here. Okay.
Yeah.
It took me a little bit because you got to go down to first gear like a lot there.
Oh yeah.
Um, so I pop up over, what do you call it? Lombard Street or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Nuh-uh.
Well,
Which?
Lombard Street is in San Francisco. It's that twisty, windy road with the planter
Yes.
boxes and shit on it. That's that
Yes.
last turn at the ridge.
Is that what you call that?
Yeah,
I just call it the ridge, and then like for
Lombard
some,
Street.
yeah, for some reason, it caught. They're like the waterfall. They call it the waterfall.
Yeah, fuck
MotoAmerica.
that, dude. It's like
I
if
think
there was planter boxes on either side of that shit, it'd be Lombard Street. Like,
it is pretty tight. It is,
yeah,
and steep.
yeah,
I think that's the biggest misconception is everyone's like, oh, that doesn't look too bad. But like once you're going down it and you're bombing down and your head's like by the like your wrist and stuff, and you're just like feeling like you're falling
yeah,
over the
dude.
bike, you're like, dude, this is deep.
Yeah. So Josh, he sits there and watches, and he was talking to me about something. I guess he was watching Phobia, and he's like, "Look, see that? That's why I don't have a job no more." Like, he's like, "That dude just lost the front every lap and does this and saves it.
Yeah.
He just
Yeah.
moves his head a little bit, saves the front." And he's watching me, and he's like, "Look, man," he's like, "You're rushing down the hill, and then you're having to load up the front end at the bottom." And like he basically told me to calm down,
Yep.
with effectively, that's what he told me, and stop being an idiot, all the things,
Yep.
and it was cool. Like I was
Yeah.
appreciative of it, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's always good to get good advice, but you got to get there's always the unsolicited bad advice too. Like that's what the guy you were talking about, right?
Yeah. 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 You get
Yeah.
the, oh man, I watched that. Like, and you come in and you slide and it kind of catches and moves around a little bit. Oh man, you look like you're out of control going in there. Like, yeah, yeah, sketchy moments, I guess.
So Rainy is in the comments. Ty's wife, Rainy.
Yeah.
And she says, whatever. Deion gives unsolicited advice all the time. He told me I didn't know how to
Wow.
drive stick. Does Rainy not know how to drive stick? What's the story there?
So, she was complaining about her Toyota pickup truck because it's a stick shift driving, and she's like, "Oh, the clutch is going bad. The throwout bearing was going," and all I said was like, "I know it's notorious when people drive stick because I drove a stick. They like rest their foot on the clutch when they drive." And
Yeah,
I'm like,
people that don't know how to drive stick do that.
Exactly. Well, that or they're just lazy. They just don't want to move their foot
Right.
off the clutch, so they just like to rest it and do your thing. And I was like, are you resting your foot on the clutch? Or are you wearing out the throwout bearing? And then she's
Oh,
over here talking like I'm just giving her unsolicited advice. I was like, it was a question. I was trying to figure this out for you, try to help out.
hey, that's how your friends are, bro. Like
Dude.
those are the friends that you keep. Yeah. Okay. So, Shotgun wants to know what's a good mindset to keep like mid race. Where should we focus?
Ooh, that's a good question. It's relative to like what's going on in the race. So, um, if you're struggling, I think trying to be consistent and as smooth as possible is like the biggest. Um, I think a lot of people get caught up with a mistake and they're like, "Oh my God, I need to make it up this way or that way. Or this is happening or that's happening." Staying calm and breathing and making sure that you're kind of focusing your attention in the right areas, hitting your marks, Keeping your eyes up. That's one of the biggest things is people will start to freak out. So they start to rush, but when they rush, they start moving their eyes to in front of them and not looking far enough ahead. So keeping your eyes up, being smooth, breathing, relaxing is where you would want to do the most. And that's kind of like in a general aspect when you're struggling, especially because staying calm is the biggest part. If you're in the battle, and you're not struggling and you're having a good race and you have tire under you and stuff like that, then um, riding smooth, staying calm and stuff is important, but always looking for the path. And the reason why is because someone can make that mistake and you have to be there immediately for it.
Well, you
Always
gotta look for the gap, right? Like you're gonna shoot the
oh,
gap every time, right?
shoot the gap. Yeah. Sometimes you just have to blow that gap wide open. Just fucking send it.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, dude, especially with how tight the racing is. Like, if they leave like just an inch, you gotta take it, or you're just gonna be sitting there for the rest of the race. Like, and then it's just
Dude,
one of those things.
Stefano Mesa said something similar to that a couple years ago on the podcast, and he's like, you know, like I can't remember exactly how he said it, but it was really funny. It was something like, oh, sometimes you just gotta like throw it in there and knock your buddy down, dude. Something like that. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah, you
So
don't definitely don't do that.
I think he was talking about somebody that he ended up smashing with, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, we rub elbows. It's gonna happen. Actually, rub some elbows this year. Trying to get through some traffic,
Yeah.
and actually at Brainerd first, it would technically be turn 3, but came into the first hard braking zone and Duke came sliding in because he was trying to late break me because me and him were already going at it for the weekend. He was trying to late break me, but I was already late breaking everybody in front of me. So there was absolutely no way he was getting this bike stopped. And like I'm already
You're
sliding
already on the ragged edge of ragged to begin with.
Yeah,
And then he
I'm
comes in like, hold my beer, watch this.
dude, there's no way. Me and him, there's no way it was gonna happen. So I'm like sliding in, and I catch him out of my peripheral, and I'm like, dude, this is gonna be rough. And from flat track, you know how to prevent crashes, and you know how to take a hit. So I like lean into him. He hits me, and as soon as he hit, I stand us up, and it pulls the inertia out of him, so he doesn't crash, and I don't crash. So we both go off into the dirt, and then we turn around and get on the track, and he's like, "Hey, dude, I'm super sorry. I was just trying to late break you, but I didn't realize how deep we're in there." I'm like, "Dude, it is what it is.
It's racing.
It is. It's racing."
Yeah.
But it's one of those things like you have to be willing to just send it in there.
Yeah. So I guess we're like an hour and something into this thing already.
Oh, that went by fast, huh?
Yeah, dude. Like time flies when you're having fun. What do you you're a pretty yoked out dude, right? Like I've seen Josh Hayes giving you shit about eating peanut butter sandwiches or whatever, right? And protein shakes.
Yeah.
What's your program now? Like, because you've gotten quite leaner this year.
Yeah. To be honest, I stopped hitting the gym for the
You
most
stopped
part.
going to the gym.
Stopped hitting the gym, and I just cycle for the most part. And the reason why is because my dad gave me these genetics. I walked by some weights, and I just gained weight. It's one of those things. Like I try not to.
You're the guy that like gains weight from watching workout videos.
Pretty much. Like I haven't hit the gym in like a year and a half. So like just nothing but cycling. And when I do hit the gym, or if I do a workout, most of it's like proprioceptive, balance, just equilibrium, mental toughness, stuff like that. So I'm not necessarily trying to pump weight, because if I just lift weight, I gain the muscle really quick. So
you definitely got tickets to the gun show. Look at this guy's arms. Jesus. Wow, bro.
Yeah, Josh says I have like that college frat boy body.
Yeah, college frat boy body. Yeah, dude. Okay. You should put frat boy on your leathers now.
Yeah, Yeah.
Or like there used to be a sticker that people would put, and it was like it was just a dude with a flat top with a giant bicep. I don't know. Anyway, how about this? Like, what's your nutrition program like before the race, and then how does that differ from the actual race weekend? Like, you MotoAmerica weekend, you got 2 races, you got qualifying, you got a couple of practice sessions, right? So, like, Bad Boy Club. Thanks, Sean Summers. Bad Boy Club. Yeah. Everybody under 40 probably has no idea what the fuck that is, but cool.
I don't. I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. I knew somebody would know it. Nice. Thanks, Sean. No, seriously, what's your how does your nutrition intake and stuff differ from normal, like leading up to the weekend and then on the weekend? Like, is there something different that you're doing because of the races that is some way that you have to eat, or, are you counting calories? Like, what's your deal?
Actually, for the most part, I just try to eat as clean as possible. Especially, funny thing is race weekends. I'm like the worst. I like if I could take calories because I don't eat very much on race weekends. It's just
Okay.
my appetite, my stomach's like in a knot for the most part because
Okay.
it's just everything's so intense. Every time you get on the track, you're just like high pressure. Everything's like there. So I can't eat a lot. So when I do, dude, I eat snacks and it doesn't really matter. If I could eat it and like hold it down, like I don't end up like wanting to throw up. It's just my appetite's so small. So like if I could just eat it, I will. I don't really have a at the track regiment, but outside the track, I try to eat as healthy as possible. Just try to keep the inflammation down as much as possible. Keep it as lean as possible.
So you're like not eating candy bars and Big Macs on the regular?
No, no. I
Dude,
don't have
on
that.
a race weekend at Thunderhill, I'm sorry, Ezra, but I'm gonna say it. I'd give him shit about it because he was winning races at AFM on the BMW thing, and
Yeah,
I was I went up there to race as well, and I was kind of teammates with him for that weekend, for those weekends that I went to Thunderhill.
yeah.
And dude, Ezra would eat from the Thunderhill snack bar, the giantest cheese, with everything. Like,
Burger.
literally, this fucking cheeseburger was the biggest burger I've ever seen in my life. And he's like, yeah, he's like licking his fingers with it done, and then going out
Just
and winning races. So I was like, wow,
polishing
dude, like
off big old
that's
burgers.
yeah,
All that grease.
yep,
Yeah. Okay. So don't get me wrong. Like I'll eat burgers,
yeah,
beef,
yeah,
chicken,
yeah.
turkey. I just don't eat like the breads and stuff.
Okay.
Anything that's really heavy carbohydrate, I try to keep
So
away
bread,
from.
pasta, that
Oh, and which sucks because my pasta is my favorite dish. Like it's
Oh
hard to
yeah,
do. Yeah.
right on, right on.
So yeah, I try to keep it lean protein. To be honest, I almost dabble into like a carnivore diet. Like it's
Somebody in the comments said spicy McChickens for the win. That was shotgun. Wow.
yeah, that's tough. I don't
Yeah,
know if my
bro.
gut
Like,
could
hey,
handle that.
that's not really food, buddy. Like,
Yeah, definitely
if
nothing
it
out of
says
a
Mick
fast
in the
food
name,
restaurant.
it's probably not food.
No, definitely.
Yeah, right on.
So
Well, you know what, man? When's the next time you ride? I mean, are you not riding until Coda or?
no, actually, we don't have a race till New Jersey.
Oh
So
shit, you guys are done till Jersey?
yeah, that's our final round.
Wow.
Yep. So I'm gonna do some training, a little bit of like flat track, some supermoto,
Right
and
on.
then basically we might do a test. I'm not 100% sure yet. And then New Jersey's that last hurrah. But
You've been there,
uh,
right?
Jersey, yeah, 2016.
What do you
But
think of
yeah,
Jersey? What do you think of it? I think they've repaved it since you've been there.
yeah.
Brand new pavement, I think.
Yeah, Jersey's a lot of fun to be honest. It's a blast.
Are you
It
looking forward to ripping into that turn? Was it 8-9, 7-8-9
Oh,
complex
on
at
the last on
carousel
the
thing.
front straight.
No, the
Oh, on the
carousel
oh
thing.
yeah
Like,
yeah
was it
yeah
7, 8, 9? And then
yeah
10 is the left after that. Like,
yeah
are you like looking forward to hooking up and fucking ripping into there on on the big bike?
heck yeah.
Yeah,
I can't wait because dude, like you come off of that right hander and you just throw it in and allow the bike to carry that momentum and drive through.
yeah.
It that part's a lot of
Like
fun.
basically, if you get that shit right, from there to the bridge, your money, right?
Oh, dude, yeah,
Yeah,
100%. So
yeah,
it should be pretty fun to learn on a big bike because obviously our braking markers and everything is going to be different, and
right.
where we're really
Well,
putting the
everything's
power
gonna be
down.
different, right? The pavement's new, so
Yeah, yeah,
like all
it's
those
crazy.
cracks and shit are gone, probably, right?
I hope so, dude. I watched a video of Laura's Baz out there, and it looked like there's some cracks and stuff here and there in some of the
Mm.
turns still. So I don't know.
Hmm.
We'll see it when it comes out.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be the same for everybody, right?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah,
So no
it
club
was
races or anything until then, huh?
no actually last club race is gonna be CRA at Big Willow after Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
When is that? That's
September, October,
oh,
October 5th and 6th, I
okay.
think. Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, I think I
So
don't know what I'm doing that weekend, but I'm going to the week while you were in Jersey, I'm doing the San Francisco thing. So,
that was a ride, charity ride, charity ride. Heck yeah. Where are you riding to? Frisco to what?
we started at in the morning. We have breakfast at Boudin's at
Yeah.
by Fisherman's Wharf, and
Okay.
then we basically go down the Embarcadero and hang a left and go south for 8 days.
8 days.
Yeah,
All right.
it's over the course of 8 days. So I'm planning on doing 100 miles a day for 8 days, and should be rad. You know, checking out the scenery. I'm like this old guy on a bicycle now, just checking out the scenery. You know, it's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
That's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Dude,
So we go from
that's
there.
solid.
We the finish line is right around the Santa Monica Pier.
Okay.
Yeah, so we get all that cool shit where it's like, you know, Santa Barbara and San Luis Obispo and
Is,
Cayucos.
are you guys doing one? Does that mean you're going down Big Sur or
Yeah,
where?
well, last year Big Sur was not open. So
Yeah.
we went down to Big Sur. We hung out in one of those little roadside cabins.
Okay.
And then there was like they picked us up and took our bikes and everything and dropped us off at somewhere like a military museum or something in Paso. Then we cut
Okay.
across Paso. We did like Peachy Canyon and stuff through Paso, which
Nice.
is epic.
Yeah.
So
Dude, that
yeah,
sounds
so
really
I
rad.
the way I look at it is like this. I'd really like Big Sur to be open because I know there's some pretty cool little climbs there. But
Yeah.
truthfully, dude, if we have to do the Peachy Canyon thing, I'm dialed with that too, man. I got
Yeah.
legs. I can climb shit. I don't give a fuck.
Nice. What's that climb rate on that?
I think well, last year I did 530 something miles for the 8 days, and I think my climbing for the week was like 29,000.
That's solid. That's
So,
super
I mean, if
solid.
I do 800, it's gonna be a little more than that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's solid. That's really good.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. Not so September 1st. Supposed to be down towards Josh's. We're probably going to do some. We're going to cycle and
okay. I'll be at Laguna that weekend.
yeah. Oh, I know.
You know, track days,
Oh,
Laguna.
well, I'm kind of jealous. You have 105 dB out there,
Yeah,
freaking
dude.
ripping it.
Yeah, Labor Day weekend track days is at Laguna Seca. If you haven't signed up for that already, please sign up for that. It's 105 decibels. We have three groups of 30. So
Dude,
it's, I mean,
that's
you know,
solid.
we're not gonna pay extra so we can have 45 dudes out there and sell it for 299. That's crazy. But
Yeah.
you know, I'd rather have it we have when you have 30 people, it's perfect because it's like you get clean laps and it's like once everybody kind of spreads out, you're by yourself, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Dude,
yeah.
that's a good deal. That's solid.
Yeah. So I guess I guess now's the time to tell everybody to check out your website.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And my little check out Campbell Racing 194.com. Check it out. It's on the
Yeah. That's a new website by uh, Adorn Photography. Jess, she's freaking been awesome to work with to help me out with that. Logos, websites, apparel, a bunch of stuff coming out, and she's busting her butt and coming out with some really cool stuff. And she really helped me out with that program, and it's basically setting it up for next year. So I'm super stoked that she's helped me out, and it came out freaking pretty awesome, I have to say.
Well, who else do you want to thank?
Oh,
You got a
everybody.
list? Do you have your
Yeah.
list ready?
Not
Do you have it on?
not on.
You didn't put your list on your cup and be like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. No. I just kind of wing it off the top of my head, just like I do on my podiums. Obviously, it's going to be the BPR crew, because if it wasn't for Bryce,
The BPR Army.
Yeah, the Army for sure.
Dude.
We
There's
have
like
to take
1,000 of those
over.
fucking things, right?
We got to take over. It's how it works. Gotta have our numbers. But no, it's just if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have the program or the bike to do it proper, and the support. Obviously Quentin from Next Level Racing, and Dunlop Tires, CT Racing, it's technically Cascade Tires and Services up in the Northwest. He helps me out stage with a bunch of everything, like from parts to anything I need. So he's a big help. And then Dr. Farr, Morteza Farr, he's my ortho doc, as well as a sponsor. Nothing like promoting the sport that helps get them work, broken bones all the time.
Right.
So the ortho doc.
Dr.
And
Brian
then
here. You got to have your ortho on speed dial, right?
dude, you have to. It's funny. I've had to call him, and he's like, I'm in ER, like, hey, I have this going on. So, I have to thank Bill Calturf, Oliver. He's helped me out a lot for this year as well. Dane Easy, Kearns County Power Sports. These obviously, Kearns County Power Sports is where BPR headquarters is. So he has his own engine and race tech side of it, and then he has the dealership side where it has the KTM Polaris and Yamaha. So have to thank them for their big support. Fabrice, I have to thank my dad too, because me and him, dude, we work 13-hour shifts all the time trying to get this program to keep going.
Yeah.
So working hard, the help from the sponsors, everybody helping out and being, it's a collective team effort. And my dad's he's my mechanic too. So he shows up and he helps me out doing tires and mechanic work with what Quentin tells him to do. So he does it. Miles, the whole crew, and of course Josh is been a big help, like calming me down.
J-Force training.
Yeah, the J-Force training. He's helped me, and it's the biggest thing is like the calming down, because just towards the end of the 600, when I started working with Josh, I was overriding the bike, which kind of made it to the point where I would have like a low side, or I did have a gnarly high side, which just it was a technical thing that I could have just backed the pace down and finished the race.
Yeah.
But I was too busy wanting to win and destroy, because I just did 45s.
You're like, I want to win and destroy everybody. I want to hurt all their feelings.
Exactly. That's how that goes, right?
Dude. Like, I want to go and win by 10 seconds.
Exactly. Well, I just did 45.
If you win, it's a win. Like,
it's a win, but not nearly as good. But no, I just did 45 and set lap record, and then I get out there, and then I'm like having some technical problems and struggling at like 46s and 47s, and then I'm like, dude, no way, I'm gonna just keep pushing, and then I'll end up, So Josh kind of gave me like the look, dude. If it's not there, don't over push it. You need to like collect the data, come back, figure this thing out, and be like very mathematical with it. And it makes 100%
And
sense.
he's meaning mathematical, as in if you chuck the thing into the scenery, it's gonna mathematically not make sense in your wallet, right?
Exactly. And but I've always had this mindset like you're only as good as your last race. So it's like
Wow.
if you're not winning, people forget you. So it's one of those things. It's like you better go out there and prove a point. So like it gets to the point where I am like get on the track. If the bike's not working, I gotta force it. Like there's no ifs, ands, and buts about it because no one wants the excuse of, oh, this bike's not working, so I didn't do good. It's like they don't care. They see lap times and results. Like do it. And I'm like,
Well,
okay,
I
that's
mean, how's your social media presence, dude? Like, where are you at with that? Are you a lot of
working
writers
on
I talk to, they say they hate it.
it. I hate it. Like if
Everybody
it was
hates it, right?
if 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 racing was back when my dad road raced and like it wasn't a business, I wouldn't have social media. I would be like just train and do what I do.
Yeah.
But because this is all a ROI on investments on all these sponsors, you have to have that social media presence. So it's one of those things. It's part of the business, and one of those things like you want to advertise your sponsors the best as possible. So it's
Yeah.
one of those things you have to.
Right on. Well, Dion, dude, I wish you the best of luck this season, man. And it's bummer that you got to wait till Jersey to throw down and hurt feelings, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty much.
dude.
But
But
well,
it sounds like you guys are in good hands and wrap up that season and then maybe next season come out and convince Bryce to do Superbike. That joking with him seems to work, right? Like you
it
joked with him,
does.
he gave you the 600 thing. You joke with him, you're on the stock 1,000. Dude, joke with him about Superbike, dude. You never know. Might work out.
Well, I'm gonna be joking with them about some other things, possibly what we're riding. So we'll see what comes and how it goes,
Right
and
on.
we'll see what we're doing. I don't have a solid plan yet on like exactly what we're doing, but we'll see what jokes stick and which ones don't.
Right on, man. Well, again, wish you the best of luck. Thanks for coming on and giving me your time tonight. And dude, I'll be watching you on the races on TV, I guess. While
Yeah, I
I'm
appreciate it.
while I'm in Santa Cruz
Well,
on the tour.
I'm gonna have to come out to a track day and give you unsolicited advice.
Oh yeah, it's always welcome.
Exactly, because
You're unsolicited.
Rainey loves that, so I figure I'll just go ahead and give it to you instead.
Okay. Well, I know how to drive a stick, so
Okay, that's good.
I
That's
mean, there's
good.
that. Right on, man.
I
Thanks a
appreciate
lot.
it.
Yep.
Thanks.